Do you have a whiteboard marker, whiteboard, and at least 3 pieces of paper? Perfect. Okay. You guys have been working with fractions a lot this year, haven't you? Do you love them?
No. They're hard.
But just because they're hard doesn't mean you can't do them, right? It just means our brain has to work a little bit harder. So we are going to, have you done anything with multiplication at all yet? Yeah. With fractions you have? Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna ask that you hold any procedures that you might know about it. Like, don't go there today. Okay? We're going to look at multiplication of fractions as if you've never done them at all yet. And make sense about what happens when I multiply fractions. Okay? So if you know procedures, we're going to set that for aside for today. And we're just going to make sense of some pictures with fractions. We are going to start with a problem. I like to use word problems because I think that's what makes us make sense of numbers and quantities. So we're going to start with, what should we start with? A birthday cake? Yeah. Can we start with a birthday cake? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the first problem, you're not going to draw anything yet because we're going to actually do some folding with paper to do it. Okay? So the first problem is that your birthday party occurred and half of the birthday cake was eaten. So for lunch today, you're going to bring 1/4 of what was left of your birthday cake for your lunch. How much of that cake did you bring with you? Now, I don't want you to answer the question right now. And I don't want you to write anything and think about the procedures. We're going to build a model first. Okay, so can everybody take one sheet of paper? If this is the birthday cake, what are you already doing, some of us? Go ahead. Sylvia, what are you going to do with this? Fold it in half. So can we fold it in half? And you know what? So that we're consistent, you guys, can we all keep our paper portrait and then fold in half so it all looks the same? Yeah, there you go. Whoops, fold in half the other way. Fold this way. Fold this way. So ours are all look the same. Okay, so do we have half of our birthday cake? Everybody's got half of their birthday cake? You're just folding it.
You said we're going to make a model.
We are. We're folding our paper. So go ahead and fold your paper. How much of this birthday cake am I bringing with me? What did I say? 1/4 of it. So what if this is, keep it folded in half, how am I going to get only 1/4 of this? Any ideas? Yeah.
Do you fold this in half?
Okay. So if I fold that in half, would that be, let me fold, don't fold yours yet for just a second. If I fold that in half, would that give me 1/4 of what was left?
No.
That's only going to give me how much? A half of it, right? So if I fold in half, do you know what happens? What if I fold in half again? Okay, let's see if it does. So with your 1/2, fold in half. So you're going to come down. Fold it in half. And now fold it in half again. Now, open that up, you guys. How many, do you have 4 equal parts of that half? Do you see that? Okay, can you take your pencil and can you, you can open it up to this part, but can you take your pencil and just color in the 1/4 piece that you're taking to your lunch? Yep, there you go.
Now color in the piece you're taking for your lunch.
Okay, color that in. There's your 1/4. Just one of them, because we're only taking 1/4, right? Okay, now open it all the way up. Because remember, we started with a whole birthday cake. When you open it up, whisper to your neighbor, what would you name that piece of the whole? Yes?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it because since it's the higher you get, the smaller the bigger numbers get on the bottom? Because you said that like about like 1/2 and 1/4 they are bigger, and then you said 1/8 is smaller.
1/8 is smaller, yeah. Because what happens to you guys? The question up here, I don't know if you guys could all hear it. Why is 1/8 a smaller piece?
Because I think think it's because it is a larger number, but on that part, if it's a half, it's smaller.
Yeah, what does it mean to be an eighth versus a half? Go ahead.
Because it's only one part of it.
Correct.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and so if I take a cake and I cut it into 8 equal pieces, versus if I take a cake and cut it into only 4 equal pieces, what's happening with the size of those pieces? Yeah, the more pieces I start making, the smaller. So that's, in math, that's what we call an inverse operation. Okay? The more pieces I make out of the cake, what happens to the size of the pieces?
Smaller.
They get smaller and smaller and smaller. If I make few pieces, what if I take a cake and I only make 3 pieces? What happens to the size of the pieces back there? The pieces get really big. Who's my third grade in here? Is anybody in here third grade? So this is some of that pieces of third grade that, like, it really starts, ramming them in the face when they don't have that solid understanding of what a unit fraction is doing out of third grade. Okay? And some of these, like third grade for these guys was partially virtual. Yes?
I never did third grade here.
Yeah, so we didn't have all these hands-on type things, so that idea of what is a fraction, it gets really confounded, even with the paper folding. That's why I wanted to do the paper folding, because it would be something I would totally do with third grade. Not that we're multiplying fractions, we're only fold in one direction, but they get to see that size of those pieces. So sorry, you guys, fifth grade, I'm glad that you're patient, but we've got other teachers from other grade levels, and I want them to see what you guys are doing in fifth grade and what they're doing in their grade level, how it connects to help you be a stronger fifth grade student. Does that make sense? So every once in a while, I'm going to say those things. Okay, on your paper, can you write 1/2 times 1/4 equals 1/8, so that you know that this was a model of 1/2 times 1/4 equals 1/8. Okay, you can write it wherever, because we're going to get a separate sheet of paper to do the next one. Once we made the folds, we can't use the paper again. 1/4 times 1/2 is equal to 1/8. That's what we did on our first problem, right?
I accidentally drew it right here.
That's fine. It doesn't matter where it says. Oh, so you guys, your eighth might not be up in the corner. You're like, show yours. Can you put your paper up? See, Nevaeh's is right in the middle of her page. That's fine. Okay? Cora's is in the middle of her page, and it's even in a different location. Is her 1/8 still a 1/8? Yeah. Yep. Nevaeh's is still 1/8. Is Foster's, you can barely see with his little crayon, his right here? Is that still an 8?
I'll try
Still an
that
8.
more.
Okay?